everyone, this is Lena and Rita, and we're happy to see you for our live session about our transformational game hero's journey. So, how are you, Rita? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm enjoying a spring with my very
Yeah,
springy coffee cup
very
and
beautiful.
actually excited to tell you a bit more about the story behind and the concepts behind our game.
Yeah, that's cool. So maybe let's just quickly share our thoughts how we have come up with an idea to co-create the transformational game Hero's Journey. We also gave it a name as Becomia. So maybe let's share a couple of thoughts how we can have come up with this idea. Do you remember? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember it was a long journey. I think where we
Yeah.
started was something completely different, and we started with this idea of combining training concepts with coaching concepts because I come more from training background and Lena comes more from coaching, and we were thinking how can we make it a product or a service for businesses and the shape of it was completely different to what we have now. But I think that's the beauty of creative process. How we landed on a board game, I actually don't remember exactly, and I don't think it was like a one moment or one
Yeah.
decision that made us do that. It's more throughout the process. I think we focused on what we actually want to achieve and how landing on the idea of having people do certain challenges and putting them
hmm
in the environment where they would be motivated to do it because of some also other reward that we get, which in a game is basically you're a part of a game and you have a potential to win the game. And that's, I think, a very strong motivation for you to do even the most difficult challenges. And then after that, in parallel, in my personal life, I got a bit into board games and
hmm
I got to experience a lot of different ones. And for me, it was fascinating how game mechanics works. And I remember watching YouTube videos. I'm like, okay, how do you create game mechanics and what
Yeah.
are they and how does it work? And I think that's when we, in one of our 1 million brainstorming sessions, kind of landed that it's a very cool delivery method for
Yeah.
what we want to achieve.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember I loved, the way when we have been just reviewing various concepts and ideas and just trying to see if it could be a fit to the concept that we are working on. And I remember how the concepts have been constantly changing until we just
Yeah.
managed to frame something into more looking as a game. And I remember we've tried really different these game mechanics with dice and with cards and with the other options. And it was so cool that finally we landed with the idea that we have right now. Nice. Okay, we have a couple of questions from people just to know more about the game because we are basically rolling out more and more to the world with our product. And I also love the way when we have been thinking, and brainstorming with you based on our personal values, why we are doing this
Yeah.
game and basically how this game could be helpful to people because you have a vast experience in training, I'm growing in coaching, and this is a great opportunity to blend, various approaches and make something fun and also transformational. So maybe let's move slowly to the questions that we have
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just let's brainstorm and discuss a bit more of them. So the first one is what is transformation and how hero's journey is used to facilitate it? Would you like to take it first or should I? What do you think?
I think you should start with a
Mhm.
concept, maybe more a textbook definition, and then I can add my
Okay.
2 cents.
Yeah. So basically, when we have been discussing the idea, we have been thinking exactly about the transformational game because most of the games they lead to transformation one way or another. whether it's a classical board game or it's some other transformational psychological or coaching like journey or something like that. And I believe the main idea of the concept itself is to help people discover more about themselves. So this is also transformation. Transformation is a change, but we would like this change to be positive one for people so they could live a better life. And this is why we have made it in the form of facilitation. Why facilitation? And how basically hero's journey is used to facilitate it? Because we, both of us, as we co-facilitated, we established this safe environment for people so they are not scared to look into those aspects that may be for the long time silently, whispering about the transformation, maybe even speaking or
Mhm.
maybe shouting sometimes to people that there is some transformation that wants to be noticed, wants to be heard, wants to be transformed. And we kind of like help um, to dive into this process in the safe environment, but at the same time in quite efficient one. So it's like double benefit. What is your
Mhm.
thoughts? What do you think?
I think for me, the attractiveness of maybe not
Mhm.
transformation itself, because as you said, it's I would say integral part of whatever workshop you do, even if it's not really a deep coaching one, right? But it's still integral part of it. But the attractiveness of hero's journey concept for me, I think is more related to the fact that it's a closed loop. So
Mm-hmm.
you actually take people through the whole journey, because I experience sometimes when you deliver a workshop or a training, you are more a blip on a radar, and you're more like there to help at a certain point of a journey. And for me, as a person who likes control and ideally have a hand in controlling the outcome, I think it's a very interesting concept to actually try and take people through the whole loop, from the start to the beginning. Of course, it's transformation in minimized form. So it's on a specific question, maybe, and oftentimes not complete, maybe. Maybe that's a small transformation that just helps you to step into other transformations that happens. But but in that form, it's complete. Like in that at
Mm-hmm.
that point in the game, you have completed at least one minor transformation that might lead you to somewhere else, and hopefully lead you to somewhere else. I think that's also the goal, at least for me, in a game. So it wouldn't be just one and done, but it's actually something you take an inspiration from and motivation from, maybe sometimes even exact concrete actions from, because we do have space for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then bring it back to your own life and continue to roll with it.
True, agree with you. Okay, the next question. How board game as a tool helps facilitate the journey? Yeah,
Yeah, I can start maybe because
sure.
I'm very pro engagement
Okay.
and
Yeah.
and pro let's make every difficult topic fun
Mm-hmm.
for everyone.
I love that.
And I think that's why I really liked the concept of having it as a board game, because even if you are not that much in board games, maybe then you are here for the content of it, for the coaching part of it, for the reflection of it. Or if you are into board games, you're also having fun on top of it. And maybe that's why you came, but you also get a benefit of going through all the transformation and reflection and coaching. And the way we built it consists of different challenges and different stages. And I hope there could be something for everyone. And someone might like one stage over the other, or someone might be motivated by uh, winning, while other people might be motivating by doing the most difficult challenges possible, because it's all within your control to choose how you go through the game, how fast, how easy, how hard it is. And I think that's also the interesting part of a concept. And as I mentioned before, if you already put yourself in a situation where, okay, I'm playing the game, from start to finish, I think there are a lot less, uh, maybe not opportunities, but space to think about tapping out in the middle of a process, because the topics we touch can also be quite, maybe not sensitive, but like can be quite difficult, and maybe not all
Yeah,
challenges would be easy and comfortable. And our goal for it is not to be easy and comfortable. Um, but when you're within the game, you kind of still have this, okay, but I have to finish the game
yeah,
one way or the
yeah,
other. And I think that's also a very big benefit of having it in a form of a board game.
sure. Yeah,
How do
so
you think?
I agree with you, and also I would like to add here maybe a bit elaborate on the topic of in a sense of like the transformational journey sometimes in psychology, in psychotherapy, or even coaching may be quite a serious actually thing. It's quite a serious process because it indeed touches a lot of sensitive topics and topics very much important to the human being, to their personalities and soul and other like values and traumas and stuff like that. So this is quite a serious process overall because it encompasses a lot of sensitive ideas. And the idea of the board game in this sense somehow a little bit lowers down, or cools down a bit the level of this. Of how serious it may be, of
Hmm.
how traumatic the experience may be. So the board game in this sense, in this case, becomes more kind of like this entertaining approach, and the fact that it may be also fun, it makes it more balanced in a sense of like it gives more maybe courage to the people to look into the aspects, or to the person to look into the aspects that are very much important, or maybe to even face the goals, the desired goals or dreams that the person wants to pursue. And I love that we managed to find the balance between quite serious and sensitive topics and put them in the form of a more engaging and entertaining way to discuss them, because actually joy, humor, and some kind of journey and fun actually may help kind of like go through some challenging moments in life a bit easier. And also, the board game itself and having it in the form of the game, I believe, boosts creativity. And for example, what I do in coaching usually with clients, we seek for some creative opportunities that were hidden, that were blocked, that the person could not find himself or herself. And the game, by the fact that this is the game, I believe may somehow encourage the person to be more creative, to find new ways for the new opportunities or the new things about themselves, the new traits
Hmm.
that they have never seen before. So this is why I love the way that we have it in the form of the board game. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where our, uh, let's say, what's the word, tagline that we put it
Mm-hmm.
is, it's more than your typical game night, because it is. It
Yeah,
is your
yeah.
game night with people you don't know from all walks of life, but it's also
Mm-hmm.
more than that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, let's carry on. What techniques are used to ensure the transformation? So yeah, I believe I can just
Hmm.
catch up quickly. So we have tried, we have not tried, we have actually blended the techniques from the workshops and trainings and also coaching. So as the, let's say, the main pillars that we have in the game, plus including the game mechanics applied from the board game. And on the top, we have been adding the challenges that are created based on different methodologies and ideas. So we are applying some of the main frameworks used also in training and coaching. Plus, we also work with metaphors a lot, with associations, and we are also working with subconsciousness in a sense of trying to bring more of the creative ideas and thoughts that could be blocked or that should be unlocked by the human being. So we are blending these techniques. And maybe you have something to add here. Maybe I have missed something.
I think maybe it's not exactly about techniques, but at its
Mhm.
core, the way the game is built and the way the challenges are built, it's all about reflection. It
Yeah.
just dressed in different clothes, right? Every time, and maybe uh, looked at it from a different corner and
Hmm.
maybe not always so obviously that you are reflecting right now, because there are definitely people who need that. And if you use the word reflection, we're like, oh, no, 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 stop. So we did try to dress it up and turn it on its head quite a lot of times. But at its core, it's about reflection with, of course, some guidance from the game itself, but also from us while you're playing the game.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, the next one. How and why did you decide to make it a facilitated experience rather than just releasing the game? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
For me, for example, I love observing and being a part of life experiences, being there at every moment, with the participants together and just observing this process of transformation, which is coming on the go. This is the first idea. The second one is that I believe for now our game is the game because it includes us also as facilitators, because I believe also the way how we can help the participants, because you mentioned it clearly that we guide the participants through the game, and I believe guidance by itself is also one of the core ideas of the whole transformational journey that we are offering, because even working with metaphors, working with reflections, working with associations, the fact that maybe additional question or maybe some also reflection from our end, or maybe some comment that we could share, or maybe the comment from the participant are important, may be important for the human being. And also, since this is a group journey, I believe it should be facilitated because we are touching upon the topics, the sensitive ones that we have mentioned. And our main goal, one of our goals, is to be to make it as the and sustain it as the safe environment for the people. And I believe facilitation here is mandatory.
Mhm.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there are a few aspects to it. From like purely personal side, I think we are not ready to, just create something and let it go. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it really is important for me as well to see the game in action and see how it works. And also continuous improvement of it is still a very big part of the process. And I think it's gonna be a big part of the process for a while. And that's the easiest and most straightforward way we can keep continuously improving it. Uh, so that's from like a purely personal side, but also game development side. Another thing, I do not put aside completely that it's gonna be a game on its own in the future. Maybe, but as Lena said, it's not ready yet. I think the concept makes sense as a led experience, as a facilitated experience, because if you would like to have a version where you just sit down with your friends and play it, somehow, some way, there needs to be a huge preparation of someone with a knowledge of, it doesn't even have to be coaching knowledge, but maybe even moderating knowledge within the group. And it's very hard to ensure that. And I think a big part of success of a game or of the experience that the player ex gets is moderation, or in our case, even facilitation and leading you through it. And I think that would be just a bit too difficult to do at this stage. But in the future, who knows?
In the future, who knows for sure. Yeah, I agree with you. Maybe we will be training facilitators for this game. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. Okay. Okay, let's carry on. What would you say to people who feel reluctant to play with the people they don't know? This is
Hmm.
a nice and amazing question, and I believe, yeah, it actually requires attention to be answered. So I believe feeling reluctant as it is totally fine, because stepping into unfamiliar or unknown environment is always a lot of stress, let's say, right, for
Hmm.
some people, because it's stepping out of the comfort zone, and consequently, it's some potential threat, for our safety and stuff like that. So, this is why, from one perspective, we have the facilitation process. Also, before kicking off the game, we have some rules specified to the respect to the other people, to some topics that we are not touching upon, and basically we have some rules for the game. So the process for everyone becomes safe, since the beginning, since the very start of the game. And in case if we notice anything that may somehow endanger the well-being of the other human being, then of course we will facilitate to moderate this process so that will not happen. And also we usually share that, like, you as a participant may share as much as you are willing to. If you do not want to share anything more, if this is not comfortable for you to speak in front of the other people, do it. If you do not want to share your feelings that much, but you still would like to try this journey out, do it. I mean, nobody is forcing you to be in front of the other people. It's up to you. What do you think about it?
Mhm. I think I agree with everything, but on top of that, I would look at it also from the benefits of it being with people you don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because quite often, I think, especially some topics, it's not like we are not willing to talk about it with people in our environment, but maybe not always we are willing to go as deep or feel maybe as understood or heard, which is completely normal, especially if people in your environment, for example, just a very basic example, doesn't understand what you do in your career, or
Yeah,
or maybe sometimes doesn't even have a skills required to just go deeper into the discussion with you. And I think that's a benefit of doing it with someone else who potentially can quite well understand your position and where you're coming from. And on top of that, I think uh, nowadays, I cannot generalize that much, but I noticed on myself as well. It's very hard to make new connections, and it's very hard to
absolutely.
make maybe not necessarily friends. It's not our goal that you would all become friends, but even to put yourself in the environment where you would be faced with different people. And in our case, since we are running this online, it can also be people who live nowhere near close to you and come from completely different backgrounds. But I am a still firm believer that there is a lot of benefit in it and beauty in it and sharing all those experiences and also expanding a bit of your horizon, and doing it outside of, social media posts and comments and whatever else content we usually consume.
Yeah.
So I do understand the reluctance, especially maybe for someone who is not uh doesn't see themselves as brave to share. But then
Yeah.
again, as mentioned, you're not forced. You come in as a complete owner of this situation and of this game, because you come in with a topic you want to discuss, and if you have more sensitive topics but you don't feel like you want to have a goal, as we call it in a game, related to it in a group of people you don't know, completely fine. You choose something else, maybe that you are comfortable talking about, or even if you choose something that is a bit more close to you, maybe, and important to you. Once again, you can do the challenges for yourself. You don't have to share exactly what the situation is. The only thing that is a request from you is more sharing your thought process and what the reflections are. But it's once again, you are in control of a situation, right? And it's completely fine to not be open if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Agree with you. Okay. And the last one, what are the additional benefits of playing the game together with the other people? I have a thought here. Or would you like to go
Mm-hmm.
first?
No, no, go.
Okay, so based on my experience when I have been joining the group therapy, and also have been playing several transformational games in the group of the other people with the other guides, and what I loved and what I noticed is that somehow, in a very interesting way, people who are gathering in the group sessions or in the group games, they are coming there for the reason, it may happen that there are some people who are mirroring the other people, and they're basically reflecting on the thoughts that the other people have been thinking of, or on the values, or on the ideas, or on the goals. And having the process together in a group is, I believe, is always like 3 times more efficient than just doing it by yourself, because being surrounded by the people with their thoughts, with their challenges, with their problems, with their goals and desires and dreams also may bring a lot of different actually thoughts and ideas, from the feeling that like, oh my god, I can do actually more looking at the other people, and I have more talents than I thought, to the fact that like, oh, like I can really share my experience as well with the other ones because I have been going through that. And the group field, I mean, like the energy overall that the group may create somehow by itself brings this transformational experience. Because and we also have some challenges that are interactive. So the participants, they kind of interact with each other. And I believe this is one of the best reflection ways that may exist,
Mhm.
because it may bring to the surface quickly the answer, or maybe some thoughts that the person by himself or herself, or just in one-on-one sessions, will be looking for maybe a little bit longer. Yeah. What
Mhm.
do you think?
I think the same, and I think I'm very much a person who experiences that because
Yeah.
especially if I'm in some group session, workshop, whatever, other people might be sharing about things that are not related to me, but it might just spark some idea, which is once again completely not related to what we are talking about. But sometimes you just need to hear some context, maybe some word will gonna stick with you. So that's one thing. Another thing I think what I was thinking right now is we need to not put expectations on ourselves in a
Mm-hmm.
sense that if you leave with one idea or one thought or one reflection, that's already very good. It's not an expectation that you should have for yourself that you will discover life meaning now, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it can happen, and of course if that happens, that's great. But even if you don't, that's completely fine. Maybe you just learned about something new today, and about yourself and about others, or about the world and how it works. So I think that's one very important thing to remember coming in. And then another thing is I forgot.
It's
I
fine. I
forgot.
can support you here,
Yeah.
because I have also one thought in my mind is that when you have mentioned that it's not that easy to establish new connections right now, right? And also meeting, facing the other people. Especially, I like that one of our games was fully multicultural. So we had people like from at least like 4 countries, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
And observing also, that basically the goals for the people maybe may sound similar, though we are coming from, different, let's say, countries with different backgrounds. What is important, I believe one of the core additional benefit of playing in a group is basically sharing, giving and taking support. Because with when we can build these connections, when we can share with the others the aspects that are important to us, what usually happens in the journeys like this, like our game, it kinda facilitates and boosts the support energy by itself, because we do understand that it's not that easy to go through the various obstacles, or anything like that. And sharing it with the group and being in a very facilitated, I mean, like, and sensitive and open to the other ideas and thoughts group gives a lot of support. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe the support is very much needed for the people nowadays. And this is, yeah, yeah,
Mm.
I wanted to
Yeah,
share.
I actually remembered what I wanted to say, which is
Cool.
very much related to what you
Uh-huh.
just said. I would
Hmm.
just put it in a sense of I coming into the game, I'm also not only owning my own experience, but I'm owning the group experience. Because you can play the game 3 different times with 3 different people, it's gonna be completely different experiences,
Hmm.
even if you keep everything else the same. And I think uh as humans, we like to be selfish, right? And
Yeah.
think more about ourselves than others, which is completely fine. But I think if looking from a selfish perspective, owning others' experiences or contributing to others' experiences is also something that you do to maybe improve someone's life. And maybe this very simple advice, or not even advice, maybe sharing of what you do, which is
Hmm.
completely mundane to you, can be something very inspiring or very changing for other people. Um, and I think that's also another thing that is important. And maybe a side benefit a little bit, but I think a very good benefit. Once again, it's gonna be as interesting or as analytical, as serious, or as fun as the group is, and as the group comes in to the game and what attitude they bring. So I think that's also very important.
I agree with you. Okay,
Mhm.
so thank you for this conversation. I hope it was useful for you guys. Just leave your comments, ask your questions if you have any of those. And we are planning to run more of our sessions this year, so we will be announcing them. And if you may be interested, just, always reach out to us and we will answer any of your questions. Okay,
Yeah,
super.
looking forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.